actually record today. When we look at linear transformations, there's a little acronym that I need you to write down. This is going to be something that's going to prove to be helpful for you. It's IHOD over. So this is what the acronym stands for. The I is for inside the parentheses. This is in reference to the parentheses. The O is for horizontal. The O is for opposite of what you think. And D is for domain, which means the X values are changing. Now, the word over, or the acronym for over, is basically opposite of everything. So if the first one was inside, that means this one would be outside. The first one was horizontal, which makes this one what? Vertical. Good. The E is for exactly what you think is going to happen. And then, of course, R is for range or Y values. We're going to use this often. You're going to see this often. You're going to hear me say this often. So this is important for you to have written down somewhere. So it's basically like a list of questions for you to ask yourself. Is the change that's happening inside or outside parentheses? Does that mean it's vertical or horizontal? Is it what I think it is, or is it opposite of what I think it is? And so on and so forth. All right, here. Go ahead and write both of these down. All right, so talking about the differences, we're going from f of x to g of x. The f and the g just name the function. Remember, we did this a while back. Those have nothing to do with this. What we need to be looking at is this, the part of the equation here. There's one piece that's different, and it happens to be this plus 1. Minus 1. Why did I say plus 1? I don't know. It's like Monday all over again. A minus 1. So this minus 1 represents a change. So we're going to talk about what that change represents. First of all, that minus 1, ask yourself, is it inside or outside the parentheses? Inside. So this is IHOD, right? So that means it's horizontal. Horizontal means left or right. Yes, y'all with me so far? So because it's a change that's left or right, if you think of a number line, so we can draw ourselves like a little number line. Let's say we have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, something like that. The value itself really means nothing at this when it comes to a number line, but let's look. It's opposite of what we think because it's inside the parentheses. Remember when we did point slope form, it was the opposite of what we thought, or the opposite value when we took out the point. So in this case, we have a -1. You would think you would go left because of a number line, right? But it's opposite of that. So in this case, this would be right 1 unit. Okay?
How did you get right?
Because it's opposite of what you think. Because if it's a number line, you would think you would go this way. but because it's inside the parentheses, it's opposite. You actually go to the right. All right. Here's the next one. Write these down. So in this case, the 10 of x actually stays the same. That doesn't change. It's the 1 and a plus 4. So essentially, we're going from a positive 1 to a positive 4. Do y'all see that difference? How did we go from a positive 1 to a positive 4? What is the change between those two? Plus 3. Good. Now, the change happened outside the parentheses, yes? So it's vertical, which means it's up and down. This is the over piece. It's E, so it's exactly what you think it is. So if we're talking about up or down, if you're adding 3, are you going to be going up or are you going to be going down? Up. Another way you could think about this is the y-intercept started off at 1 and then the y-intercept moved to a 4. So hopefully you can visualize that line shifting up 3 units. So that means it's the y-intercept that changes. Okay. All right, here's our next one. The original function is this one. So we're looking at f of x equals x. And we're changing it to that g of x. So because I'm changing it to g of x, where I'm adding 5 to f of x, so really what g of x is going to look like is g of x equals x plus 5, because we're taking that x and putting it where f of x is. Okay, so what is the change? The change is this plus 5. Do you agree? Yes? It's outside the parentheses. So it's vertical. So we're talking about up and down. It's exactly what you think is going to happen. So if it's a plus 5, what do you think is going to happen? Very good. Up 5 units. Remember, the word up can also mean vertical, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be up. Vertical and up or down have the same context. Again, it's that y-intercept that's changing again, isn't it? Because the intercept went from the origin up to 5. All right, I want you to try this next one on your own. Let's see if you can see what the change is here. All right, let's see what we got here. So we have that plus 1. What does that plus 1 tell us? It's going to go up 1 unit. Good. Again, it's that y-intercept that changes. This is probably one of the more common changes that we see. All right, here's our last example together. Again, we're using the parent function f of x equals x. So remember, f of x equals x is like the most basic function that exists. So we actually have 2 changes that are happening here. We have a plus 1 and a minus 2. So let's talk about the plus 1 real quick. Is it inside or outside the parentheses? Inside. So that's a horizontal shift. So we're talking left or right. It's opposite of what you think. If you're adding 1 on a number line, you would think you would be going which direction? Right, but instead you're going to be going left. Notice, I'm asking myself, and I'm trying to get you to think about that I hot over every single time. You're just going to go through those motions every time. All right, now the -2. Inside or outside? Outside. Vertical or horizontal? Vertical. So it's going to be exactly what you think. Since you're subtracting 2 and we're talking about a vertical change, where's it going to go? Very good. So for the most part today, the value that it moves isn't going to matter. It's whether or not you know you're going up, down, left, or right. Okay? So again, you have to go back to that I hot over. Ask yourself all of those questions. For those of you that didn't watch the video from Monday, it's Monday's video. There's a password in order for you to do your assignment. So you need to go check out that video to get the password.